This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. This is your host, Debbie. Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. I'm your host, Debbie, and today we have a very special guest here in the studio. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Dr. Mito Diaz-Espinoza, and I'm here as a board member for the Hispanic Leaders Network.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on. We are so excited to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. Runs from September 15th through October 15th. And we're so glad you're here today on the 21st floor of the Alico building.
Thank you.
One of the first questions I love to ask any new guest on the podcast is, what brought you to Waco, or are you a Waco native? What's your Waco story?
I am a Waco native, so I'm a very proud Waco native. My great-grandfather came to Waco many moons ago. So my dad's family is all from Waco.
Wow. And
then my mom's side of the family is from South Texas, what we call the Valley, but I'm a Waco native.
Wow, amazing. Well, we're so glad to have you here representing this amazing organization. So tell me more about you guys. What's HLN? What's the Hispanic Leaders Network?
Sure. The Hispanic Leaders Network is a nonprofit organization. We've been around now for going on 7 years. We started off as a part of the Central Texas Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, but for the last, I think, 4-5 years now, we've become our own nonprofit organization. We're a group of volunteers. We've got a board of directors, and we host different educational events, leadership events, and cultural events. And then we also host a mentoring program for high school youth as well. So we just try to stay involved and do as much as we can for the Waco community.
I love that. And that's what we're here to talk about today. We actually have an exciting event happening this weekend. Yes. So give me all the details.
Sure. So this is going to be our third year doing this. It's a partnership with the Mayborn Museum. And it's what we call a live exhibit. So we have some sort of cultural tie. The first year we did mariachi music, which is traditionally Mexican. And then last year we did Puerto Rican music. And this year we're doing a group called Grupo Pacal. And they're
like Mayan.
Mayan kind of indigenous group that'll be doing dance, and we'll have some folks talking about kind of what Mayan culture is and history. We always have food at the event. It goes from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock there at the Mayborn Museum. It is free. We ask everyone to register early so we know how many people to expect, and we have an Eventbrite link for that. And it's open, family friendly. We want you to bring your families, and also after the event, you can stay and enjoy the Mayborn and kind of peruse and look around. So it's a good time to explore if you've never been to the Mayborn Museum. But we're really excited just to bring culture and bring a little piece of what Latino and Hispanic heritage is. We always talk about it as one thing, but it actually is very, very deep and very, very nuanced in several different cultures. So we try to explore one of those cultures every year.
I love that. That is so amazing. And getting to see that, especially as that represents your mission as an organization. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. So our mission really is trying to develop more leaders in the Waco area who are Hispanic or Latino, or who want to help cultivate Hispanic and Latino culture. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that we are represented in all facets of government and business and organizations. And in order to do that, we want to make sure that we have leaders who are ready to be in those positions, and the organization is kind of built for that. So we want to have leadership development, networking events. We always want to have culture connected to that as well. So whether somebody is still a high school student or they've been in their career for 30, 40 years, we welcome all those individuals because they bring talents and gifts, and we want to make sure we're cultivating that and providing confidence for individuals to kind of get engaged in the community.
And I love that. And obviously this is so much more important than just the 1 month of Hispanic Heritage
Mm-hmm.
Month. Tell me about some of the other programming or maybe some of the other events that you guys have coming up or have already done this year.
Sure. So we just did one of our kind of signature events is called Conectar or Connect, about once a month, 10 months out of the year. It started off as just a networking event to get people together, and it's kind of blossomed into we have a speaker or a panel. And 2 Fridays ago, or actually last Friday, I don't know what day it is. Last Friday, we had our Conectar event at the Art Center of Waco, mm-hmm. and we highlighted different local Waco artists. So we even had University High School's culinary arts program provide the food.
Wow.
And then we had a digital creator, photographer, videographer, someone who plays piano and opera, some documentarians, just a diverse group of artists. And they talked about their experience and what it is, how they infuse culture. throughout the month. So the 21st is our next event, the Mayborn, but then we close out Hispanic Heritage Month on October 15th with a partnership with the Baylor Club. We call it Fiesta. It's basically just a party after hours. We'll have live music, some artist highlights. We do like a dance kind of instructional type dance that we do there. Again, we'll have food and get people together. And then another event we do every year is a candidate forum. So we are a nonprofit organization. We cannot endorse candidates of parties, but we do believe in the power of the vote. So every year we'll have a local candidate forum for any contested local elections. So October 21st, the first day of early voting, we'll be out at KWTX Studios, and we'll invite all local candidates to come out for that as well.
Wow.
In December, we'll have what's called Posadas event, tamale competition, highlighting some of the local vendors. So if anyone's hungry, that's usually held at the South Waco Recreation Center. And then throughout the year, school year, the Navegando program mentors high school students. Wow. So these are Spanish first speakers in the high schools. And we have mentors and people that'll come and connect with them so they can see a little bit of representation in individuals who kind of look like them or might share a similar background. But that goes on year round. Mm-hmm. And then in the spring, our big event is our fundraiser event. So it's a lot of fun, but we usually have that in May, and we've had it a couple different places. This will be our third year coming up this year, so we're really excited about that coming up.
Yes, that's absolutely amazing. And so tell me more about your background and how you got interested in this and how you got involved.
Sure. So I always like to tell people I'm a person that likes to complain, and I always have, a critical thought or a critical word about something.
I just have opinions.
Yes. But I also believe that if I'm going to do that, I also have to be part of the solutions, and I want to always be engaged. So I've always been community minded. It's instilled from my parents, always been something I've been involved in. I gave a speech for academic achievers at University High School because I'm a university alum. And I went back to speak, and our board chair, Elaine Boteo, was in the audience, saw me speak, and came and talked to me about the organization. And that was right at the start of HLN, and I've been part of it ever since. Wow. Been a board member now for 2 years. So it's just something that I think is critical for us to have leadership and have individuals in positions to really make an impact. So it's something that I wanted to do. And it's just a lot of fun. Everybody on the board is really down to earth and really well connected. And it gives us an opportunity just to come together and enjoy each other's company while also doing something good for the community and infusing that culture. So it's a lot of fun to be a part of. We're an open organization. We don't have membership dues. We don't require people to come to meetings. If you show up to an event, you go on our list, and we'll invite you out to all of our events from that.
So just start showing up.
Sure. And as much as you want to get involved, you can, from volunteering. So we always need help decorating, setting up, and tearing down. But also, if you have ideas for something that's beneficial to the community, bring those to us, and either we'll let you kind of lead the way and we'll support, or it might be something that we're thinking about doing and trying to get your input on. But any kind, from ideas to actual picking up tables and chairs, we want everyone involved in any way they can be.
Okay, amazing. And with that, one last time, give us the who, what, when, where for this event happening this weekend.
So the WHO is Hispanic Leaders Network, but it's really a community event. We're going to be highlighting Grupo Pacal at the Mayborn Museum Saturday, September 21st from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. And the reason we want to do this is just to bring culture and just expose people to something different that they may not be accustomed to. And that Mayan culture is something that's indigenous from Mexico and Central America, but the community really kind of evolves from that and goes from that. So we just want to expose folks to that event.
Okay, perfect. Well, with that, we'll take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
All right.
And now for a word from our sponsors.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
Hi, I'm Caroline.
And we have a new podcast for you. What's it called, Caroline?
Bloody Happy Hour.
It's going to be your new favorite guilty pleasure. We're going to talk about some bloody stuff. Serial killers. True crime. Rapists. Why not join us? We'll have a good time.
You literally never know. I don't know what I'm going to say. Bloody Happy Hour. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey, I'm Blair.
And I'm Brittany. And we're the host of
By the Cover Podcast.
We cover everything from mysteries, thrillers, romance, chick lit, and even some smut.
Don't forget the smut.
Yeah.
We're so excited to get this thing going and share this with you guys. We've been talking about this for months, and it's finally happening.
Yes.
Special shout out to Rogue Media for helping us with this.
For sure. You can find us on Instagram at @bythecover_podcast.
You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok, so don't forget to give us a follow on those two also.
And we are so excited to dive into some of our favorite books and share those with you.
We can't wait. Hope you love it.
What are we doing here, Rusty? What are we going to do?
Yep, we're doing the King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast.
King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast. Yeah, so we're going to go through one episode at a time. Come along for the ride with us.
Come check it out.
And give me a good like Dale Gribble quote to go out on. Wingo.
Yeah, Wingo.
Wingo. All right. Well, join us for the King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast.
Deep in the heart of Texas, that drinks his brew and he spits his chew. Deep in the heart of Texas, the TV blares but no one cares. Deep in the heart of Texas, here we go.
And now, back to the episode. And we're back. So we're just talking about the exciting event happening this Saturday that people definitely don't want to miss out on. What a beautiful infusion of culture here in our community right here in Waco, Texas. With that, one of the first questions I'd love to ask when we get back from break is, what would you like to see more of in Waco?
From a personal perspective, just more awareness of the history of Latinos and Chicanos and Hispanics in Waco. We've got a long, proud history in Waco that doesn't often get told. There's no public buildings, no city buildings. There's one now that's a county building, but there's no city buildings, no streets, no parks named after Hispanic or Latino people in Waco. There are some talks about that happening, but if you rode around Waco and walked around, other than the businesses that are currently operating, you wouldn't have a sense of the deep history that we have here and the connections that we have. So I'd love to see more of that, and I'd love to see that infusion be talked about and be highlighted more. There's been an event or a project that's now through the city's library. At the South Waco Library, they have some local leaders that are highlighted there. McLennan Community College is currently doing one right now for Hispanic Heritage Month, highlighting local leaders. Mm-hmm. So that's really cool to see, but I'd like to see something permanent and something kind of infused into the city.
I love that. And with that already goes into my next question. I mean, as a lifelong Wacoan, what has it kind of been like, to be a POC here in Waco? What has it been seeing that development? Kind of tell me your experience on that.
Yeah, for me, it's been always a struggle. Like, it's always been a voice we've had to talk. We continue to have the first of things that happen of non-white people in leadership roles in different positions. And so always highlighting that and always making sure that we're talking about that is something that's always been forefront in my mind. But just trying to make sure that we have seats at the table and that we bring those voices and that we are making awareness of the community here. We're almost 40% of the population. We're over 30% of the city of Waco. We're over 51% of the Waco ISD schools. So just having leadership in those roles. And there's only, I think, like 2 current principals in Waco ISD who are Hispanic or Latino. There's no one in the city manager's office who's Hispanic or Latino. There's some directors in the city. So there's a lot of places where we just don't have voice and representation, and they try to do outreach and they try to connect. But it's always been a struggle to kind of say, hey, we're here and we're doing these things. As a people, oftentimes Latinos are seen as humble and we don't want to kind of toot our own horns. So we just try to do that more and say, hey, we're here, we're doing these things, and we want to make sure people are aware of that.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And with that, obviously, as our city continues to grow, it's so important to have that representation, especially here in our community. I know that people are trying to work for that. I know they are doing the offerenda displays and everything like that. But what is something else that you think maybe we could see, maybe on a smaller level or maybe even on a bigger level, that people could do to maybe give back or get involved in a way that maybe they haven't before?
I think just learning. That's one of the things to always be doing is connecting. There's a lot of resources resources in the area. Waco Foundation does a lot of race equity work, and they have a lot of events and a lot of things that they're promoting and doing as part of their kind of mission, and that's something that I think others can take advantage of. But just learning and talking about it, asking questions, you connected through different organizations or your own kind of church or wherever that is for you, just asking questions and looking around at leadership and saying who's at the table, who's not at the table, who are we serving when we say we're serving certain groups. So all those kinds of things are things that I think are important to be involved in and understand. But just also the history itself, the land in Waco is given to Waco or sold. I don't know the exact story. The Jacob de Cordova family is Latino, and that's something that a lot of people don't know. There is a push right now to have a Jacob de Cordova society happening to learn more and educate more. So getting involved in those kinds of things and making that known is something that I think I wish more people would do.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And I know you kind of already did this, but is there anybody else you would like to shout out that has kind of helped this journey or helped along in our community that we should be looking at?
Yeah, I could be here forever on that one. But
don't forget them, or else they'll come after you.
The board of HLN, like I said, is something that I always want to highlight because that's who I'm here representing. Elaine Boiteo is our board chair. He's not on our board, but Hector Sabito is a former city council member here, very influential in what we do. Daniela Rodriguez, who sells commercial real estate and real estate in town, is our cultural events chair, and she's the one putting on the event for this Saturday and the Fiesta event at the end of the Hispanic Heritage Month. So those are definitely individuals that I want to highlight and talk about. But there's a lot of other folks in town, several professors at Baylor University. So there's Felipe Hinojosa, who's did a Chicano history course last spring and invited some Waco leaders to come and talk their story. And then Ricardo Alvarez is another history professor who's developed a Latino history course that's going to be rooted in Waco history, and that kicks off next spring. So a lot of different individuals are doing work and highlighting a lot of the things that Waco has been known for and has done, especially in the Hispanic Latino community. So those are some individuals I'd like to highlight.
Wow, that's absolutely beautiful to get to see too. And I'm so glad that you shouted out those people that are actually doing the work here in our community and really just, tilling the soil, planting those seeds. It's wonderful to see. And of course, how can people reach out to you? How can people get involved? Give us where we can find you, all the things.
So we have a website, hln-waco.com. It's going through a redesign, so probably not the best resource right now. Social media really is the place to find us. So on Instagram, HLN Waco is our handle there. And then both on Facebook and LinkedIn, you can just search Hispanic Leaders Network and get connected to either one of those. And that's usually where we'll put a lot of our information, events, planning. If you want to get connected to us and volunteer, like I said, we're always looking for volunteers. You can email us at hlnwaco@gmail.com and reach out to us that way, or just show up at an event, and we usually have a sign-in sheet. Or once you sign up on the Eventbrite, we've got you, and we're going to keep sending you information from there. And again, as much as you want to be involved or can be involved, we welcome that, whether it's coming out and volunteering and serving, or just participating in our fundraising event, or donating money is also helpful as well, as we put on all these events for the community that are free.
Yeah, and I always tell people, don't be afraid to slide in the DMs. That's what I did.
Exactly. Somebody will get back to you.
Somebody will get back to you. Well, thank you so much for your time again. We appreciate you being here, and we're so excited for these events happening. I hope this really culturally impacts our community here in Waco. Is there anything else you would like to share with our listeners today?
One of the other big things that we do is language justice. So we believe that everyone should have access to all the services and have access to everything that we need. And we have a lot of Spanish speakers and Spanish first speakers and other languages as well. HLN actually has headset equipment that organizations can check out. Wow. You can rent them. I say check out, but there's a fee. And there's like 25 headsets, and they have one microphone, and then somebody can translate in real time.
Wow.
And we trained about 13 certified Spanish speakers about a year ago, and you can hire them as well if you need somebody to translate. But if you have a translator that can do another language, you can do that as well. So any event that you have that you're trying to reach Spanish speakers, I would encourage you to connect and understand that it's not just having bilingual pamphlets or papers. It's actually a cultural nuance to talk in the language and understand what that means for individuals. So having someone who truly understands their culture to kind of translate is very, very impactful, because oftentimes we will run things through Google Translate or, all of us took some foreign language in school and we'll translate, but it doesn't always come across as the message that you want to send. So having someone who's a native speaker or who's been trained to be a translator really does make a difference. And that software and that hardware that we have is really helpful to do that. So we encourage anybody to get that and stay connected with the communities and really go out and do the outreach. Even if you don't have Spanish speakers on staff, you can at least have an outreach and an outlet to do that.
Yeah, and I do, again, want to just put you guys up on a pedestal for a moment. All of your posts, everything you do in both languages. It's absolutely beautiful to get to see and just show that accessibility in our community. So I just want to give you guys a hand for that.
Well, thank you. We try. Not everything we post always translates. Sometimes we repost stuff, but anything that we originate, we do try to put it in English and Spanish, just because we know sometimes it feels better to read in that language, in your own language, and we want to encourage that, and we want to walk the walk. And if we're going to say we're going to encourage that and do that, we also want to do that. So we do try to do that. Even our candidate forums, afterwards we translate those as well. So there are usually a video feed afterwards that'll have a transcription of that in Spanish as a language. So we try to do as much as we can. And like I said, it doesn't happen all the time, but as much as we can, we'll encourage that.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much again. I definitely appreciate it, and I do hope that the celebrations continue on long after October 15th.
Me too.
Find us everywhere on all social media platforms, KNOW_Waco. Check us out at roguemedianetwork.com, and we're on YouTube under Rogue Media Network. Check out nowaco.com.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production. Are you a podcaster? Let's talk podcast hosting. Are you tired of your current podcast host? Need real support in a community that gets it? At Rogue Media Network, we offer top-tier podcast hosting services to help you thrive. From hosting and distribution to dedicated support, we've got you covered. Starting as low as $25 a month. Join our community of passionate podcasters today. Contact us at hello@roguemedianetwork.com.